Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Tarnation TV production, also available on Flat Out Racing Network Live in two ways. So however you are viewing this evening, thank you very much for viewing it. We are here at Rolling Thunder Gaming. This is the Talladega Challenge on Thursday nights. And let's just get straight to it. My name is Blaine Donlan, joined this evening by Jack Mitchell and Kyle Matthews.
Thank you very much, Blaine. And this is the race number 10 here. Second race here in the playoffs. So that means tonight it is an elimination race. 13 drivers going for 8 spots. And one of those drivers is not even in the field tonight, that being third place man Brian Schilling. So he's going to be a little bit nervous tonight. He's going to need some help from the guys behind him. Going to need some of them to struggle. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here tonight. And Jack, this season we've seen a little bit of everything. We've seen photo finishes. We've seen, we've seen photo finishes. We've seen some interesting pit road entries. And then last week we saw for the very first time all season, went caution free. What do you think we're going to see tonight?
Honestly, you never know what could happen here at Talladega. It's a wild card when it comes to racetracks, and I feel like we're in for, we're due to see something that maybe we've never seen before. Maybe we haven't seen in a really long time. I really don't know what to expect. Maybe some desperation though in the late race stages, depending on the drivers where they are positioned in the race on the last few laps when they're getting closer and closer to the checkered flag, and they're kind of realizing, okay, I'm below the cut line. I need to do everything I can to, at the very least, try to get as good of a finishing position as possible. And I feel like that's, the desperation, it goes up a few notches when you have the circumstances that we do tonight, where drivers' seasons are going to come up short here while they're trying to chase down that championship.
Of course, last week was the very first race here in the playoffs, and had a couple of opportunities for one of these playoff drivers to punch their ticket into the next round, but that did not happen. One of the big names that did not make the playoffs, surprisingly enough, Jeremy Jeffries drove the general lead of victory lane, holding off playoff contender Donnie Garrett, who scored a win 2 weeks ago to lock up his place in the playoffs. So nobody's really safe here tonight. I mean, some people have a comfortable gap back to the 8th place, but nobody is officially locked in.
Yeah, I would take him to look at the points here right now. And I mean, Grant Wesley with 577 points. I feel like he's probably as comfortable as it gets. Josh Metallic, of course, only 9 points back. Again, we mentioned Brian Schilling only 18 points back, but not in the field tonight. So he's going to definitely need some help from the guys behind him. I would feel like maybe the top 4 are probably the safest drivers right now, but that's just, looking at the points. Obviously, on paper, you would be willing to say that most of those guys are safe, but absolutely anything can play out here over the course of these next several laps. So really, like you mentioned, nobody is safe. Anything can change. The points can change dramatically as this race continues.
It's been a very competitive season. We've only had one repeat winner this season, that being Grant Wesley. And as you mentioned, he is on top of the point standings right now.
To your cars.
As the command for the drivers to go to their cars has been given. We'll get the command to go racing here pretty soon, as we're going to go through the starting lineup right now.
Let's do it. We got the 7 of Cy Jones on the pole. Mike Mangialardi in the 29 to his outside in row number 1. Row 2, it'll be Joe DeSpirito and Kelly Kazi. Glenn Harris and Robert Spring in the next row, followed by Ulysses Sandoval and Greg Lovell. John Godfrey alongside Richard Martin. Then you got Bobby Farrell with Rodney Solins. Robert Breedlove with Tim Nofsker. Perry Bond with Jeremy Jeffries. Bob Seminara with Billy Elliser. Brett Wesley alongside of Chuck McClure, Ken Roberts alongside our own Michael Norman, and you got Greg Palmer alongside Chris Elliott, Donnie Garrett in the 77 alongside Denny Carroll in the 41, and you got the 39 of Josh Metallic and the 28 of Mark Paglia. Dante Ricky will line up alongside Randy Waugh.
Luigi.
There's that command being given right now. Then you got Bernie Mobbs alongside of Pat McCarsky, Graham McDonald alongside Brian Lovell, Tim Anderson alongside Terry Bombard, and you got David Little alongside Doug Hulick, Ryan Roston, and Cody Lamas in the rear.
No need for knockout qualifying tonight. We had just enough entries here to fill the field. So everybody that showed up has made the race, and that's always good news for them as they take their pace lap right now. playoff drivers scattered throughout the field. Some got a pretty decent starting position, like Ulysses Sandoval, one of those drivers that is going to need a good run tonight. Maybe might be in a must-win situation. So we'll see how that plays out.
I will say it does take a little bit of the pressure off when there's no knockout qualifying. If you're a playoff driver coming into this race and there's the added pressure before the green flag even flies that one driver might not, or one or more drivers might not even make it to the start of the race, adds a little bit of pressure. But with no qualifying or with no knockout qualifying, nobody at risk of missing out on things, everybody can kind of ease up when it comes to where you're going to start, because as we know at Talladega, it doesn't necessarily matter where you start as long as you can stick with the draft well, manage your track position properly, and everything on pit road goes well. You should be in a position to contend for the win at the end of it.
Another driver that is not in the field tonight, who we normally see out here, is Dennis McCarthy. And we were told just a few minutes before we went on the air that sadly he lost his brother here tonight. So always hate hearing something like that happen. And thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family right now.
Absolutely.
Just about ready to get this thing going. Pace car lights are off. Cy Jones on the front row here with 29. Couple of Budweiser throwbacks in row number 2. Boy, that is a spotter's nightmare right there.
Absolutely, yeah. You hate to see that if you're a spotter. 2 drivers with the identical paint schemes that are going to be starting in the same row.
Well, 13 drivers, 12 in the field, going for 8 spots. Who's going to race for a championship and who's going to be left out? We're about to find out. 66 laps away. Green flag is in the air. We're underway here at Talladega.
Perfection. I do say so myself.
Seth I was thinking about
post a little bit late last week. They were about 100 feet past the line. You hit it. Perfect.
Guess I'm not that rusty after all.
There you go. Good job.
That
was the easy part.
Yeah. That was a good
Seth
jump there.
Obviously not with us here in the booth. He'll be back next week.
Yeah, Seth is down in Virginia right now and enjoying some vacation time, so I hope he's having a good time down there.
Cy Jones got Cy Jones up front.
There we go.
Jump for Cy Jones on the start of the race. And outside line looks like some drivers are trying to jump up and make it 3 wide early on.
Not a big surprise to see that. They normally doesn't take them long to get 3 wide. Here we come at the line. I think the 29.
Oh, Harris getting out of shape there.
That was close.
Second time that's happened to him, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Seeing a little bit of movement side to side on Mangialardi there up front.
Well, Ulysses Sandoval jump into the bottom right there. Got a good qualifying draw here tonight. One of those drivers, like I mentioned, needs a good run here tonight, possibly a win. Would love to get up here and at least get him a bonus point right off the bat. It's that outside line getting going pretty well here. Believe that is the 21 of Randy Waugh leading that. No, that's not
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven
yep.
there. 2 cars painted very similarly there. If I can talk properly, that would be nice.
So with Schilling not being able to make it, Josh was informing us before the race that even though he's not able to make it, he's still able to make it if some of the guys around him maybe lose an engine, have some bad luck tonight. So like you said in the intro there, Kyle, that even though Schilling's not on the track, he'll be watching, because if some guys kind of, make a mistake or aren't able to finish, he could still be in that championship run.
And we've seen plenty of mistakes made, especially over the last couple of weeks, especially when it comes to green flag pit stops. Think back to last week. How many drivers did we see have a problem, especially on the final round of green flag pit stops?
Yeah, I was just about to bring up last week. I feel like that was kind of the talking point. There were no cautions, but everybody kind of had all their issues going on the pit road. Some drivers brushing the wall, some other drivers spinning out. And, I felt like one by one, everybody was making mistakes on pit road. We had some speeding penalties involved as well.
I think on the final pit stop, which, the money stop, I believe, and the whole race went green, like you're saying, I believe that final pit stop, there was 3 or 4 black flags handed out. I believe Robert Spring got 2 of them. A lot of bad luck, but man, such a great advertisement for NASCAR racing 2003 season. Watch a race like that. Oh, you guys play a 20-year-old game. I'm like, yeah, watch this race. And tell me that this game's not awesome.
Still going strong, still being updated, still being modified, as we are being joined here by Jessica Loreley, who has plenty of experience in this series.
Yeah, hi. I can't get in because I'm still on the Discord waiting to see things.
Oh.
Might be a while before they get solved.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Yeah, waiting. So I have no idea what's going on, so hi.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Well, we're on lap number 6 right now. Mike Mangialardi is out in front.
Here comes the bottom line,
Ulysses
though.
Sandoval, but yeah, the 931 getting a nice run on the inside. He has help from Kelly Causey and Bob Seminaro on the bottom.
That's Breedlove leading the charge on the inside, trying to get the run on Sandoval. At the very least, make sure that one of these drivers isn't trying to move down and block that line.
So they're running on the bottom. That's kind of interesting because usually the middle and the high line is where you want to be after the first lap.
They're making it work.
They had a third line going right there, but that outside line is really disintegrated, and we have just a inside line and a middle line right now. They're making some progress on that inside line with Breedlove coming up here. He's side by side with Jeremy Jeffries for that third position.
This is looking a little bit jumpy in the middle, though. I feel like he might be the driver that tries to make the move to the inside as Breedlove went a little bit up the track there. Almost got out of line, but managed to hold on to it.
This evening, there was exactly 40 cars joining the race, too. Josh let us know. I think there was no need for a knockout qualifying session tonight. We hit the number perfectly.
That is a rarity for this season, the way this has been going. We've had knockout qualifying just about every single week, it seems like, and they didn't have to worry about that this week.
And what's not a rarity is that it's another full server, so it's still a full house, which is amazing.
And you know what's really interesting about the knockout queue? From what I was told a while back when I just joined the practice so I could get ready for that event that I ran a few weeks ago for Maverick, the qualifying with the way these guys are trying to get in for knockout queue, they have elevated and raised the bar each time. So it's getting harder and harder to actually make the show from what I'm understanding.
Everybody's sharing their secrets because qualifying is some different settings. You know, you get in there and change your wheel settings and stuff. And if you don't, like you're saying, if you don't know how to do that, there's enough people that do, you might not make it in. We've seen guys who were like, past champions not qualify for race. I think Dante didn't qualify for one of these races. Or no, he's not in the playoffs this year. That's what it is.
Are we 4 wide? We were just about.
Almost.
A couple of playoff driver Rodney Solent caught in the middle right now, 3 wide, about mid-pack. He's got, I believe that's Kelly Causey right behind him.
Jeffrey's running 3rd right now. Still no real movement. Mike Mangialardi's been the leader for the last few laps.
Mangialardi has actually led 7 total laps.
Side Jones led the first lap.
Yep.
Of course, with this being Talladega, that pressure is constantly on. You can't make a mistake or anything while you're at the front of the field, whether you're the leader or one of the drivers right behind the leader, because then if something happens and somebody makes a mistake, not only are there drivers that can potentially shoot right by you for the race lead, but of course, an incident happens at the front of the field that could spell disaster for everybody else.
Out of curiosity, what race number is this?
This is race number 10. This is the second playoff race. First elimination race.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot on the line. Is anyone currently safe that has advanced that, has a little bit more ability to relax in this race?
Nobody's officially locked in.
Oh, look at Ulysses.
We had 1 second here. Yeah, Ulysses Sandoval going for the lead on the outside. He has help from Bob Seminaro on that line, and Ulysses is going to lead the lap and get himself a bonus point.
Yeah, crucial bonus point. Ulysses just barely was able to lead that lap. He might get passed up here on the inside, but the fact that he was able to get the lead from Mangialardi at the line will give him that crucial bonus point in the standings.
But
Every
none
point
of
matters.
None of the playoff drivers won last week. We had Donnie Garrett, the highest finishing of the playoff drivers. He finished second. Grant Wesley is the overall points leader. Has a pretty comfortable lead. He just needs to avoid a catastrophe, and he'll move on to the next round.
It sounds like the pressure's on because there's, like you said, nobody has been able to get that secure victory. And with that being said, yeah, this is going to be a make it or break it. Everyone's going to be jostling for position, especially at the end of it. You said this was like when I joined, it was like lap 6. So, yeah, they're trying to get themselves formed up real quickly for the long haul, aren't they?
Love to the bottom. Ulysses Sandoval might find himself in a moment as he leads that last lap. Might have to end up blocking both lanes at once. As far as I'm aware, I don't think anybody's lost the draft just yet. Everybody's still up here with that lead pack. This is still a really competitive race in the early going.
Got 2 playoff drivers running first and second right now. It's Ulysses Sandoval, Bob Seminaro. You know, Seminaro would like to take the lead, get himself a bonus point here, just probably waiting for the right time.
So as far as the cut line being the 8th overall in points, how many do we lose after tonight? Because it's 2 rounds each, right?
The top 8. The top 8. The top 8 advance, and I'm saying 8 loosely because, you know, we've had one extra driver advance a couple of times in the playoffs here over the last couple of seasons. So it's supposed to be the top 8, but we'll see how that plays out here tonight.
And then after that, the 4, but like you were saying, we've had the quote-unquote final 5 recently, too.
Mm-hmm. That's why we make such a big deal out of getting a bonus point. It may not sound like a whole lot, but, you know, it could be the difference in somebody moving on and somebody not being able to race for a championship.
Absolutely. If that last position is decided by just 1 point, that bonus point there for Ulysses, these laps, or it would be more than 1 bonus point for now because he's led the last few laps, but it could make a difference.
And if you think this is a trip, you just wait until about a month to go. They're going to be coming up on the All-Star race, so, you know, when that start to be thrown out there quite a bit, the pressure's going to mount for people who haven't got themselves locked in to actually try to get locked in, so they're going to have that.
Greg Palmer trying to lead that in to go to the bottom there. Looks like Bob Seminaro is going to get hung out to dry on the outside. Ken Roberts will move up. He's going to move up to second.
Well, he's still the race leader, but that inside or the outside lane just lost a whole lot of juice there as Sandoval leads another lap. Here comes Palmer, as you mentioned. Tim Nofsker not far behind them either.
Tim Nofsker, Chuck McClure. So we got some more playoff drivers moving up here. Right around lap 15, and we're not too far off here from the first round of green flag pit stops. Those will start to happen here within the next couple of laps.
Yeah, unfortunately, Blaine doesn't have the lap counter up, so I can't see the lap counter on his stream.
Excellent point. There it is. 15 of 66. Had to do the old, turn it off and on again. The buttons work when they want to work. It's a macro setup too, so it's a sequence of buttons.
Was just told by our FRN colleague Michael Norman. He's got 5 projected laps on fuel, so we're getting near that first round of pit stops.
Yeah, when we talk about the pit stops coming up, Kyle, we've got to realize the first group that's going to pit. They're going to try to pit early, so when they stay out, they're hoping for a caution that cycles them back to the front. Now, the question is this going to be a strategy that they're thinking about right now, or are they just saying, I want to come in and pit and get it over with? But who knows what they're going to think about doing, honestly.
I think it'd be a little bit too early to be thinking about strategy. You think they would try that the second round or definitely the final round
if you make a mistake on the first one, that could set you back a bit, especially if we get to a really long, green flag run. And if that's the case, if we have cautions or whatnot, how many vehicles are going to be lapped down that's going to be in the way ahead of you?
That's something to think about for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I would treat every pit stop like a money stop, honestly. Make no mistakes. You don't want to, as Jess just said, don't want to set yourself back early. And, again, we talked about, you just mentioned the long green flag run. The last race was caution-free, so nobody would have gotten that extra benefit.
And most of the season, we haven't seen many caution flags throughout the race. I mean, we've had a lot of races. We've only had 1 or 2, maybe 3 cautions at most. I mean, these guys know this mod very well. It's very good for super speedway racing, and they've been doing a great job with it.
Just a heads up, I am like 15 or 16 seconds behind, so I'm like on the other side of the track while you're ahead of me.
Let's see, Sandoval's still the race leader. He's running a really consistent race so far. I feel like all the other drivers that have been right in front of him, right behind him, have kind of been cycling and shuffling their way throughout the field up and down the running order. But Ulysses has been consistently at the front, been running second chunk of it, and then recently took the lead and has led the last handful of laps. And he keeps running this consistently. Got a good shot here. Gonna see where he is in the points right now. Currently running 10th.
Well, what I'm noticing, Jack, is that you have Seminaire on the high. I mean, from what I can see from the stream, I'm saying, I see Seminaire on the high side with the Metallic right behind them, and
that's still the case.
They got a really good
the grass.
They have a really good line. They're really formed up there. But it just seems like every time they try to make a little bit of a leeway, they end up coming back out just a little bit. So it's like there's not really gaining any thing.
We just had our first round of green flag pit stops. And you mentioned there were cars that went into the grass as well.
It looked like Cy Jones and David Little ended up in doing some landscaping there.
Keep our eyes on the front just to make sure that nothing happens with this lead pack. There's a whole mess of cars right now. Here they come. There were a whole bunch of cars that had already made it on the pit road. And
big group of cars coming down pit road. Goodness. The 6 goes around. There's a wreck. Couple of cars back here.
The 9 of Chris Elliott's in the grass. Looks like 7-Eleven of Godfrey back there.
Had a car on the grass. We had a couple of cars spinning around on pit road.
Yeah, that was the majority of the field that came down pit road that time, and get a big pack of cars coming on pit road at one time like that. There's always a possibility of something like that happening, but Donnie Garrett has stayed out.
Yeah, Donnie Garrett being scored the leader right now.
One of our playoff drivers. He's won a bit of momentum here. Won 2 weeks ago, had a second place finish last week, and he told us after he won a couple of weeks ago, look out for him in the playoffs. That's usually when he steps up the performance, and he definitely has so far. And he's going to come down pit road this time. Doesn't have anybody with him, though.
Yeah, that's the one difficult part when it comes to pitting and you're all by yourself and trying this strategy is you're going to be kind of on your own and not really have the help of any kind of draft. Let's see where the remainder of the field is right now. I find who's being scored the leader.
From what I'm seeing, it looks like Ulysses has someone else in front of him that beat him out.
It's like the 22 of Greg Palmer is out in front of him now.
This pack right here, Palmer and Sandoval right now would be the leaders.
You have Palmer up here. You have Sandoval. You have Nofsker, McClure, Sollins. All these guys are championship contenders.
And a couple of former champions at that, too.
Yes, he is.
Well, them kind of just drove right by Donnie Garrett here. That was bound to be kind of a mess on pit road, too, because there were a whole bunch of cars that actually were in the lead pack that were making their way on the pit road while the cars that were being lapped because they had already been to pit road were in their way. Everybody kind of had to navigate around that whole mess. And for the most part, most of the drivers kept it clean and we worried to avoid a caution, but obviously that did not go well for some drivers. Like, saw the 6, I believe Brian Rawson went around. Currently running 27th right now with this second pack.
Yeah, Chris Elliott got involved there. Actually, Chris Elliott just retired. Engine camshaft failure.
Tough break.
I did hear over on Whisper, Cody mentioned something about his race is kind of a little bit messed up now. from what I can see on the scoreboard, he's back in 37. So, I mean, unless that's changed, but I guess something happened to Cody too.
Yeah, it's been a theme throughout this season. These green flag pit stops really shaking things up.
And we sort of seem to have our two distinct packs right now. Obviously, this lead pack led by Greg Palmer. It's got about what?
About
10 cars
15 or
involved
so
here?
cars, maybe.
15, something like that. And then you got to go a few cars back. Bernie Mob's leading this second pack, running 18th right now. About 10 more cars in that pack, maybe 12.
And from what I see, most of them, except for maybe 2 or 3 cars, are all running single file here.
First car out of line in the lead pack looks like is Bob Seminara, trying to lead a few cars up there with him. He's got, first glance, I noticed the 39 at Josh Metallic.
Grant Wesley's up there.
Our points leader, Grant Wesley. Yeah.
All right,
Randy
you
Wong.
gotta remember a little bit behind you guys. I was just looking at, I believe it was just the one blue car originally. Now, right after you said that, that's when Seminary just moved up there in front of Cy.
Greg Palmer inheriting the race lead, but again, that consistency that I talked about with Ulysses Sandoval running second after all that, so he's still doing a good job of staying up at the front here, and he keeps this consistency up here, stays running about the top 2, top 3 for a good chunk of this race. He could be setting himself up here in a nice position to try to go for the win.
I do not know what the points are, so how tight are the points for the cutoff line?
As of right now, Rodney Solons, I believe, would be the cut line driver. He's got 541 points. Denny Carroll in 9th, only 3 points back, tied with Ulysses Sandoval right now, although I think there might be a tiebreaker somewhere.
Oh, good gracious, it's really going to wrap up then, because if they're that close, that tight, I mean, they got the second line from what I can see on here forming, and that bottom just seems to be mostly pretty much dominant right now. And if that's the case, you got to really think about one way or the other to try to get around somebody. I mean, yeah, it's early still, but you also want those points for leading the most laps too.
One of those guys you just mentioned that's below that cut line in that tight position is Denny Carroll, and he's leading that outside line, or he was. I say moved to the inside of the 48 of Cody Lamas. It's like Denny Carroll goes to the bottom now. Seminara going to lead that outside line.
I just took a quick look at Bernie Mobs leading a pack of cars. He's currently in 8th, leading a pack of cars all the way back to 30th position.
Yes, there's probably a mix of cars that are on the lead lap in this lead pack and cars that are a lap down. Greg Palmer, obviously the race leader. Let's see, Ulysses, Ken Roberts, Tim Knopfsker still on the lead lap.
Yeah, David Little in the 083. He's in the mix there, and he's not part of the lead lap. And
now, Jessica, you've made
that's it. Oh,
yeah, the 083 of Little is currently being scored 37th. Don't see anybody else.
Now, Jessica, you've been in this position before. You've made the playoffs. You've contended for the championship before. Coming into one of these elimination races, how did you feel going into it? You know, were you nervous, or did you just take it one lap at a time? I mean, what are these drivers feeling right now?
Well, as for me, I can't speak for everybody, but mainly, originally, when I would start, I would just try to take it one lap at a time, but as those laps tick on that board and you realize, hey, I'm not in the top 15, you start becoming a little bit more aggressive, trying to figure out which lane's moving, who you want to go with. And the problem with being aggressive is you have a tendency to make more mistakes than not. And I mean, it's like a 50-50 shot here. You get too aggressive, guess what? Your day can be done over a ridiculous move that you made that you probably shouldn't have done. You should have just been more patient. But like they say, on the other side, it can pay off. As I'm looking right now, I'm seeing Knopfsker on the high side with Randy Waugh.
Luigi.
I don't know if I'm going to put Luigi in there. And it looks like they're trying to get something going with Seminara on that high side, but they just can't. But for me personally, when I first started and I made the playoffs, early on, I mean, it just came naturally. I really wasn't worried about making it because I was always running top 15. But later on, it's got so much more difficult to even make that point of hitting the top 15 based on when you qualify at and who you had running around you. So I mean, like I said early on, it's probably not going to be that big of an issue. It'll be up near the front as close and as quickly as possible before that last round of pit stops, for sure.
Bob Simonera just got kicked all the way to the low side. He went to the inside of everybody. Nobody going to the bottom of the racetrack with him. He's going to lose a ton of steam.
Not sure what happened there. I don't know if there was any contact between him and Grant Wesley, or he just tried to make a move and nobody went with him, but looks like he's going to fall to the tail end of this pack here unless somebody gets behind him.
Still single file. They're about to catch up to Godfrey in the 7-Eleven here. They'll put him down a lap.
He's going back and checking out what happened to the 712. He's on the high line being pushed by Wesley. He makes a move to the middle, but had to bail on it. I think he had such a good push from Wesley. He was going to run right over Denny, so he just opted to move down to the bottom lane there instead of just wrecking.
With Bob, though, Bob has been in this position quite a few times, so he's probably thinking, well, it may have screwed him out, but hey, he can come back up. Or either that, or he may not have liked what was going on with that push that you were talking about with that run. He may have just opted, like you said, to back out, go to the back, and let these guys race it really hard and take the time to get back up there. You know, like the old Dale Jarrett strategy, just ride in the back, slowly make your way to the front.
Real quick, just checking on the cars, some of the cars in the back. Mike Mangialardi, who was leading a good chunk of the early portion of the race, he's falling back to 30th, running in a 4-car pack right now with Richard Martin, Donnie Garrett, and Tim Anderson.
A couple playoff drivers back there with Richard Martin and Donnie Garrett. We saw Donnie Garrett stay out and lead a lap under that exchange of green flag pit stops, but man, it's cost him a lot of track position for right now.
Top 5 seems to be the same. No change in top 5, it looks like.
Yeah, we're just kind of single file everywhere for the most part.
Yeah, the top 5, 6, 7, I mean, they've been pretty content here to just ride it out.
Taking a look at where Rodney Solons is right now, a little bit further back in this lead pack here. He is our cut line driver as of right now.
Are any of the playoff contenders that are like really in the back and a lap down or getting close to being a lap down? Because I don't know who they all are.
Well, Richard Martin and Donnie Garrett are running, what was it, 30th and 31st right now?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's Godfrey.
I
don't know if Godfrey's a playoff driver or not, unfortunately.
No, he's not.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, Solon's going to make a move to the low side just as we were looking at him. Does he get any kind of help?
Came in here on that cut line.
Made the move to the bottom, but so did everybody else because they're going to be lining up for more pitting.
That's a good plan. We're getting closer to.
Now they haven't had a caution at all yet, right?
No caution
yet.
So if that would be theoretically correct with them pitting, that would probably be roughly around lap 38, I would be guessing. Because it's about 19 laps.
Yeah, we're not too far off right now. Right now, Tim Knopsker, help from 17 of Chuck McClure, making a move here, side by side with Ken Roberts for that 3rd spot. Kelly Causey's also on the outside line, and so is the 39 of Josh Metallic.
I do want to take a moment to sit there and say I really appreciate Jeremy running the Michael Waltrip Napa throwback scheme on that. It's really nice to see that. Yes,
it is. A lot of good-looking schemes in the field here.
I know you did this earlier, Blaine, but I believe you went on board Ken Roberts. I really like this steering wheel. It was like all like red and green Mountain Dew. I always thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Rodney's been going bonkers with some of these new paint schemes. He's been editing different parts of the car. He tells me there's some Easter eggs hiding in some of these things. And, well, let's check out Jeffrey's cockpit. Okay, you're going to think this steering wheel is the bee's knees. I'm just saying.
I'm still waiting to get in there, yeah.
You'll see it. There's about an 18-second delay to YouTube, but
I know.
Yeah, it's something else, I can tell you that much.
Well, Jack's being mean.
Wow. Kyle and I just went on board with it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah,
that is cool. Now, if only the wheel was blue or yellow and blue or something like that, that would be more really like white.
Some of them are pretty wild. Yeah, you can always tell a Rodney Sellens paint job if this steering wheel makes no sense. Like, who's running the whiskey? I can't remember the Jack Daniels. Is it
That would be
McClure,
McClure.
I think?
Yeah. Chuck
Yeah,
McClure
his-
runs the whiskey one.
His looks like whiskey. Let's go
Really?
cockpit. Yeah, it looks... Oh, no, it's different.
Is a shifter a beer bottle?
No, it's different. I thought it was... maybe he changed the paint scheme? I thought it
Let's
looked
say
like
that's
whiskey. No.
To say if that's a beer bottle, that ain't sending a good message right there.
No.
Western Auto. He's running the Darrell Waltrip throwback, isn't he? I like how it's chrome, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Who's to say you can't get creative in this game all these years later? You guys were talking about you've been playing this game for 20 plus years. I don't have quite that resume, but I've certainly been playing for a good chunk of my life, and having these
Looks like Novsco's trying to go for the lead on
these
this.
games is really nice.
Yeah, him and McClure, they've been working well together on that outside. He's going to be side by side with Ulysses right now for that second spot. That outside line has made a lot of good progress.
Definitely has. A lot of drivers kind of making their way up there as we, I believe, lap 36 right now. So
Is that
a little bit over halfway.
Is that a lap car barely hanging on, or is that someone part of the lead group that's like a bright green car?
That's
or a green
Perry.
car back there? Oh, that's Perry Bond.
Yeah, Perry Bond, yeah. And he is currently riding in the 36 spot, 1 lap minus.
Yeah, they've put a couple of cars a lap down during this run. Him, I know the 48 of Cody Lamas, I saw them go by him.
Well, you noticed that you talked earlier about Bob Seminara falling back, and looks like he slotted himself on the inside line, slowly but surely trying to move close
We
to
had
the
some
front.
pit stops happening back there.
Yep, the second pack.
Well, Ulysses is on the apron.
Oh,
Boy, that was close.
that resulted in kind of a lead change, although I don't necessarily think it's going to matter that much with pit stops coming up in just a moment, but never say never.
Well, it would depend on how you pit with your buddy and whatnot, shuffling out lines and whatnot.
That's true. Yeah, that's Tim Nofsker now leading the race from the middle line, though. Greg Palmer, the leader,
Oh,
and
boy.
Seminara in the back had
Swerving there to
Give
get
him
by
moments.
the 10 as Denny Carroll comes to road. Oh, Terry Bombard.
ooh boy,
Ooh, wow, yeah.
what a
Gonna need
hop
some
hit
new
by Terry
tires after
Bombard.
that one.
If he made it there without speeding, that is amazing.
Yeah, I would love to know if he gets a black flag or not. He really had to dive for the outside just to make it on the pit road in the first place. Robert Breedlove on pit road.
You just better be glad just to like 3 or 4x wear on them tires. Them tires would be dead.
Trying to see where our race leaders are at. They're about to make their way back towards pit road here. Tim Nofsker in the race lead.
I just think I just saw, maybe it was Demar, it was an STP, or it might have been Bobby Farrell that almost ran over someone on pit road because of the line that they were thinking.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
A little bit of contact made going on the pit road here with this lead pack.
They held it
Everybody
together.
managed to hold on to it. No spinners.
Saw a couple cars lock him up here, but
Even finding Josh Metallic able to find his way to his pit stall, that was pretty awesome. Let's put that in replay mode and back that up. Watch that blue car there. He has to find his way to his pit stall and somehow doesn't hit anything.
And you realize the car that was pinning behind him is almost like the same scheme he ran, last season?
oh yeah.
Oh,
What is it, Tony?
All
Is
that
it
traffic he
Kanan?
had to navigate through. He just barely made it into his stall without hitting anybody.
I think it was an F1 scheme of some sort, like a
Mike
McLaren or
Norman.
something.
Oh, Greg Lovell drifting. Brian Lovell there as well on pit road now, those 3 cars.
I actually thought he actually got tapped by the Fast Pro throw back there for a moment.
Norman on pit road.
I'm still on pit road.
See who else is there. Brian Lovell. Actually, it looked like that was it. There were only 3 cars. So Tim Nofsker was the leader going on the pit road. He's currently being scored 4th.
I'm surprised Grant Leslie's not leading this thing.
I think Michael wants attention of leading.
He is leading the race right now. As of right now, he is being scored the race leader. The problem is he's only just now making his way off of pit road. I think the leaders are going to pass by him right here, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to sit there and say that he's Michael, so we just need to focus on the second place. Actually, would be in the lead lap because Michael, he'll be like 20 laps down before the end of this race.
I mean, Michael's done a pretty solid job in the race.
Quit! You're giving him confidence. Stop.
He's had some rough luck, but I mean, he's done a good job.
Yeah, he's had a rough luck. I wonder it's Dust's fault. We know it is.
7-Eleven getting a black flag. Unfortunately for John.
John's one of those guys who always seems to be doing the right thing at the right moment, and then just something always seems to happen to him.
Isn't that just Talladega in a nutshell, though? It feels like they're doing the right thing the whole time, and then one quick little slip up, and it completely undoes your race.
But Jack, this is coming from someone who's actually been in plenty of races with John, and it just seems to always happen to him. Like the bad luck bug hits him a lot.
I don't know if Michael was watching the broadcast while racing, but he just told me just to tell you to stop talking bad about him.
He doesn't need to be listening while driving.
And he's apparently texting while driving, too.
Yeah, I don't recommend.
He's whispering while driving. There.
And Oscar's still the leader.
From what I'm seeing,
Side Jones will have down.
From what I'm seeing, though, at this point, going to turn 3 on lap 41, it just seems like from, after Metallic, it's really kind of spread out. I just don't know who's going to be able to stay in that draft, because Ulysses is looking like he's a little bit further back from Jeremy. It looks like Jeremy might be able to catch.
Quick look through the field here is, you mentioned Jess, well, I think the top 8 are kind of in their own pack, and then not too far behind them are Josh Metallic, Mark Paglia, Jeremy Jeffries isn't that far back, but at that point you mentioned the lap down cars such as Cy Jones, Ulysses Sandoval now lap down. We were talking about how consistent he was running earlier. He's fallen a ways back.
I think he had to come to
Seminara being scored 12.
I think Ulysses had a penalty of some sort because he was up in that lead draft, and then we saw him. I think he was running in the second spot. Then we saw him on the apron. I think he made a pit stop and had to come back down and serve a penalty or something because he's, like we mentioned, in the 33rd spot right now.
It probably was just a passing drive-through.
Yeah, so to your point there, Jess, it really feels like after that, after about the top 8 or so, top 9, 10 drivers, everybody's just kind of really spread out. Up, dead in the back of the pack.
I was just told by Michael that Ulysses blinked out, and that's what caused him to lose all those positions.
That's a tough break. I have been there before. That is the worst.
Oh, really? Have a little lag spike on the line, and then it doesn't count that lap?
It has happened before, especially to Pollard. When Pollard would do that, Pollard would either glitch a couple laps ahead or a couple laps back. Remember, Kyle?
Oh, yeah.
Move being made to the outside here. Rodney Solons. That's Dante Ricky. Outside of Rodney Solons.
Oh, I forgot all about Dante racing this. I'm surprised. I would expect Dante to be right there in the top 5. But he's like running 8th, but you guys haven't mentioned him, so I was like, what?
Haven't seen much of Despirito this race. He was running a cool new paint job, I believe.
Looks like a Valvoline car. Yep.
Yeah. That's really nice looking.
I do. I like that. Despirito is in this second pack here. It's being led by the 92 of Bobby
his
Farrell.
Steering wheel looks like. Oh,
well, here's what I'm looking at. The fact is, lap 44 on my end now. So we're talking about what? One more pit stop?
I think so.
Yeah, so this pack here we're watching right now, 92 Bobby Farrell leading this pack, Bobby in 17th. And then we had Seminara in the 712 leading a little pack here. He's in 12th. So this is always interesting. When I love it when this happens. We get some green flag stops, kind of breaks everybody up. They could run this lead pack down, but they got to work together. They could also race each other. But it is a long race.
Well, if I remember correctly, which I could be wrong, if I remember this correctly, if they make the pit stop, they would only have roughly 7 to go. And if that's the case, then you would probably take a can, because a can can get you 10 laps.
Rod Weston in the Tarnation TV chat, my co-host, when we're not simulcasting. The 28 car, Mark Pagula rocking an old Lotus F1 paint job. It's cool. I do dig that.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what it
I've
was.
seen that one a few times before.
It's cool to
Shout
see
out
that on a
to-
NASCAR.
In the FRN chat, Seth Cole saying hello from Richmond, Virginia. And again, Seth not with us tonight as he's currently on vacation a little bit. He'll be back.
Yeah,
next
if
week.
Seth was here, he would have actually put me in the booth specifically so I could actually see real time and not be delayed. ...
In fairness, we did not know that you were going to be here, Jess. We did not plan for your
Yeah,
appearance.
it's just kind of.
I messaged Kyle like 5 minutes prior. He had plenty of warning. He just didn't get back to me.
Well, you messaged me right when we started, so it's not like I could just stop what I'm doing.
Will you stop putting me on the bad side of things?
But we do appreciate you being here, given your insight and your experience in this series. So definitely helping us out here.
Honestly, I was able to have some free time, and I really haven't been able to be part of this, and I've been wanting to actually get back to be helpful somewhat. Somewhat helpful if I can. Plus, technically, I owe you, Kyle, for trying to stay up late last night.
Yeah.
A little bit of a wiggle
I mean,
here
I'm
from
always-
our second place driver, Chuck McClure.
Now, out of curiosity, you got, from what I'm looking at, Novsker, McClure 1, 2, Palmer 3rd. Wesley running 5th. You said Wesley was right there. Technically, he'd be okay. Now, Solon's being 7th. You said Solon's was right there being labeled, like, what, 4 points out of the cut?
Solon's is right at the cut line.
Solons is our cut line driver right now.
Well, by the way it looks like he's doing a pretty good job being in the top 10 right now.
Yep, having a solid run so far. Driver I'm keeping my eye on right now is Grant Wesley. We see him right there, 5th position. And if we make this final round of green flag pit stops, if the final round of pit stops is under green, I look for that to favor Wesley. How many times he is a master when it comes to hot pitting? How many times do we see him coming down pit road, running right around where he is right now, and come out with the race lead?
This guy is just a master of everything he does here in RTG, let's be honest. I've been calling a lot of the other races with Seth on, Monday nights, Wednesday nights. I think just about every series that he's running in, he's currently holding the championship lead. So Grant Wesley is on a heater right now in season 67. And
I believe it was Brian Schilling that gave him the nickname Grant Housing.
Grant Housing.
Where is Schilling anyway? I don't see him.
He is not here.
He is attending something for his family tonight, from what we were told. Everything is fine. Just he came in tonight though, third in points.
So he should be
is-
okay.
As
We
we've
have more
had.
pit stops, it looks like.
Now you were talking about all this situation here with the idea of Novsker and McClure, from what I'm seeing, running the way they are. I'm just wondering if McClure's going to be content to ride behind him because, winning should be. I think it does give you a couple points or a point or something extra, doesn't it?
That
Don't
I'm
remember
not
off
sure.
the top of my head.
Michael has joined us in the TeamSpeak room, apparently. I have him muted, so yeah.
The 92 of Farrell all by himself on that pit stop.
Okay, you're muted, Michael. Hi.
Hi.
We got a full broadcast booth.
Was getting absolutely nowhere. Just nobody in that second pack knew about running the white line to try to catch up. So, and then we all tried to pit early, and I made a last-minute decision to join them, and I was gonna stay out. And that
You made the undercut. You made an undercut choice, and yeah.
Yeah.
This is what happens when Seth is not here. We have a booth with
I pulled a legit Cletus McFarlane and decided to take out the grass instead of
Will
other
you
people.
Will you stop pulling Cletus, as you've been doing that a lot lately?
Well, he's driving Cletus's car.
Does he know about that?
Probably,
Exactly.
but it would be cool if you did.
no comment.
See, now they're all running single file, and that really concerns me at this point.
Yeah,
I feel like that was
that's how they've been we've been running caution free. Everyone's been running single file and actually racing pretty smart.
I understand that, but when you're running single file and this is an elimination race, it's a little bit more tricky not to run over someone or back off and not get ran over.
Well, the cars to the outside, Brian Lovell.
The cars in the second pack decided to all come down to pit road with 19 to go, right literally at the limit for the window.
Not to say they're pushing it. They're trying to go 19 laps.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it can be done, but that's an awful lot of saving. Especially when there's no cautions to actually help you out.
It is, and they're not going to start racing or anything like that until after this round of pit stops.
Yeah, I was going to say they're probably, with not that long to go until the window opens up again, you might just see them
probably here within the next three or four laps, yeah.
As much as they can until they
and I hope I'm not
going on the pit road.
I hope I'm not jinxing anything by saying this, but are we possibly going to go caution free 2 straight races, the first 2 races of the playoffs?
So far, we're there.
Looking at Bernie based on what Blaine's looking at right now. And Blaine, just letting you know, you're buffering a lot.
It looks good on my end.
Well, it might just be my internet then.
And yes, I just moved you, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know what happens. Sometimes my YouTube stream, like right now, I have it set to push 8,000 kilobits per second, which is crystal clear, high definition, 60 frames per second. But right there, it was buffering because for some reason my OBS was pushing 20,000. So I don't know why it quadruples sometimes, and then that'll mess YouTube up because it can't take that much.
A word of advice too. Remember when I told you that Ulysses blinked? He apparently lost a lap because of that, and when
pit stops.
Yep, I see him.
And when he tried to ask if he could get that lap back, they pretty much told him no, he's going to have to wait on a caution.
Oh.
And he hasn't gotten that caution. Everybody cleanly on the pit road. Again, Metallic navigating past a decent amount of traffic. We'll keep our eyes right now on Tim Knopfsker. He was the leader going on the pit road.
Probably the best pit road entry we've seen for these guys.
Here comes Chuck. Chuck's gonna... No, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
He got in front of him.
Wesley going for second here.
Leclerc holding on for second. Good pit stops all around, and that'll definitely be the last pit stop of the race, assuming there are no yellow flags. So, I mean, this could very easily be where the racing kind of starts to ramp up here.
Unless they come down for tires, even if a caution comes out, I don't think they'll come down pit road.
No, they won't. They shouldn't come down for any reason, period, unless they're a lap down or getting wrecked when they're in caution. Now, there's a little gap from the McDonald machine. I think that was Dante?
Yes, it is.
From Dante back to Greg. And
somebody stayed out again.
Tim Anderson around. Another one of our playoff contenders got caught up in that.
A little bit of time.
Saw Donnie Garrett right there with them.
And now Knopfsker should retake the lead. For the 7-12, still stayed out front.
I'm just going to point this out. I've been around Bob long enough to know that during random moments, he will sit there and say, you know what, I want to come in early. I want to come in off sequence with these guys to try to catch a break, or I want to stretch it to try to catch a break. So I have no idea what he's doing here.
He tried that last week.
He's in with the small. This is the same pack that I was in right here. So he's got himself nestled in there behind the 24. I mean, you could save a little bit of gas like that, but it is dangerous if somebody gets into it.
If he's behind the 24, then Joe and Bob, being a Florida gang, they're definitely going to work together to try to make something work here.
Saw Seminara try that last week on the final round of pit stops. He pitted a little bit early, and it did not pay off for him. Ended up losing a lot of track position.
All right. So you're saying Bob's the leader right now?
Yes, technically he is until right about now. He should get past.
Yeah, we've been following right now the leaders. It's
gonna be a can of gas.
Yeah, or maybe even less, depending on.
No, because a half a can you can get 5, can you can get 10, He's right there at 57 out of 66, Michael. So
Yeah, that's right. My math
gotta,
was not.
gotta have a can.
My math was not mathing.
But that extra bonus point. That's what I guess.
Hey, I got a bonus point too. I led a lap.
Yes, you did.
I don't know how, but I did.
Did you see that shove from third to second? Third to second.
Grant
there?
Wesley pushing Chuck
was impressive.
McClure.
Yep. And here they
Look
come.
at Grant Wesley in the conversation for the pit road strategy. It feels like this guy just every single time is, whoa, that's a...
This might work out here for Seminara and Spirito.
Yeah.
We can
I
keep
thought
this
Dante
group.
Rookie was going to take it 3 wide on these guys.
Now we should see this front start to race.
Yeah, this is where the action will start.
There's Jeremy.
See another line.
Jeremy
Jeffrey's
Jeffries.
back there.
Jeremy Jeffries trying to make it 2 wins in a row, trying to be the second person to win.
Well, he's only got
Twice this
one
season.
car helping him. That would be my.
This lap traffic, too. This lap car's going to have to get out of the way. 97.
Comes Ulysses coming back on pit road.
Watch out! Don't pull Kevin LePage. Oh, he almost
About
did. Wow.
Jeremy Jeffries. Man, that was a close one right there.
Again, though, I'm going to bring up the point, too. Jeremy Jeffries, or Grant Wesley, sorry. He's the guy that kind of is dominating in every single series right now. And again, I don't know how he does it, but again, finds himself up here in the conversation for this checkered flag late after getting that pit stop strategy right. I don't really remember talking about him that much in terms of being up near the front of the field, but here he is running third.
I just love when I'm hearing that dominating several series. It just brings back old times and old memories, doesn't it, Kyle?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this stack up.
This is going to be really, really exciting at this end here. 60 out of 66.
Like
And we're not
too
even at
small.
10 o'clock yet. If this keeps up, the race might actually take the checkered flag before.
Here goes
10 o'clock.
Dante
Stay
takes
with
the
the
lead.
look.
Kind of look earlier when they were lap cars to his inside, managed to hold on to it and stayed in line, but tried to have a look there.
Jeremy Jeffries leading a second line with Josh Metallic, the lap car of Pat McCarski. And then Joe DeSpirito and Bob Seminara right there with them.
Jeremy and Metallic are trying to get something going. They've been doing that ever since we've seen it. So
Yeah, unfortunately, though, that middle lane right there is going to be the only one that's going to prevail.
yeah. So what was that I was seeing earlier and hearing about earlier? Like it seemed like the bottom was working, the middle lane wasn't going anywhere. Now all of a sudden it's back to the middle lane. It's like it's shifting different lanes now.
Well, it goes. You should know this better than anybody. It just goes with the people who know how to actually push. When you got people in line that,
Well, that's rude because Jeremy and Metallic know how to push.
Well, I'm talking. Yes, you're gonna need the majority of the cars in there, but like the third lane can get you only so far before it dies out, and then not only does it kill the middle lane, but it just makes the bottom lane much more prominent.
Honestly, at this point of the race, if I had a choice,
Oh, there goes Ricky to the inside. Palmer's with them, too.
that's what I was about to say. At this point of the race, I would go to the bottom. That's where I would be going, right there to the bottom at the end of this race. And if I had an option, I was like way back there where Metallic was, I'd probably be thinking about something on that third lane.
Problem is
Ricky
when you're the last car in the pack, you let off because you're catching in such a hurry. Have to feather it. You're gonna lose all of your momentum. So now Dante gets to just go all the way to the back.
Got Chuck McClure running in second. It's been a pretty quiet season for Chuck McClure. Been all about consistency. He's yet to win a race yet this season. In a good position here right now to possibly get that first win.
I will say, you say quiet season. He's running fourth in the points right now, though. So he
Well,
just
how about
is
him?
still helping him out.
Has Tim had any wins this season?
Yes. I forget when exactly, but I know he has one so far.
All right,
this
they
season.
got 4 to go. So
Yeah,
this
Chuck
is gonna
McClure
be
all
interesting
over the
here.
back bumper right now of Tim Knobsker. You have to get a feeling that at some point, maybe with about 2 laps to go, is when he might think about starting to try to make some kind of a move.
Jeffries again to the bottom. Jeffries again not in the playoffs. Really has nothing to lose here.
Palmer
so
to the
not-
inside.
Right.
Greg Palmer.
Oh,
Wesley.
Oh, there they
There
go.
goes that, and if that comes back up out on the track, which
Oh,
is
oh,
my
that's going to
lord!
bring on a caution.
And this race is going to end under yellow. That's
Wow.
it. This race is going to end
will
under
it?
yellow.
They got that EXT. Could they possibly get this thing restarted in time?
I don't know.
That
if
is
they
our
can. They're
points
coming.
leader.
No, they're not because they're coming to 2 to go or 3 to go right now.
There's our points leader, Grant Wesley, on his lid. Tim Nofsker is still going to have the race lead. I feel like that was honestly just late block. We'll definitely go back and take a look at what happened.
That was a last-minute decision to try to see if he was clear, unfortunately.
Mentioned earlier here that Grant Wesley just needed to avoid, a catastrophe. And look what just happened here, man.
The complete opposite.
Yeah.
Everybody goes for one spot that was going to have the momentum, just trying to make that one thing. And like I said, you get aggressive at the end, there's a chance that you get overly too aggressive and you make that one move. That's all it takes.
I think they're gonna try to see if the EXC will work and get them to 1 to go, but I don't think they will. One, because they have lap cars. But yeah, this race more than likely, probably about a 99.9% chance will end under yellow.
And I agree with you on that.
Let's go ahead and take a look back and see what happened in the yellow.
Because we saw Palmer make the move. Wesley, it's just a late block right there. Palmer had Rodney Solins right behind him. Yeah, they just get together.
They had an accordion right behind them. Right away.
Oh man, more cars too split them while they were flipping in the middle of the racetrack.
I mean, Wesley went end over end. You hardly ever see something like that.
Can I make a joke?
Sure.
Can I make a mean joke?
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
I wouldn't.
World Series car, you're out there.
Look from a helicopter point of view here.
No, it's the All-Star game, isn't it? Also,
yeah,
you're out
that Dale Jr. throwback from 2001.
Yeah, just a late block.
Wasn't quite clear.
But honestly, there's nothing Greg could have done because he had three cars behind him pushing. 2 or 3, so...
Yeah, he had some momentum going right there. He had Rodney Solins right behind him and a couple of others. They had a good run, and looks like Wesley just tried to block him at the last second.
And I agree with Michael. I think the race is pretty much going to be over. It's going to end under yellow because it was too late. But how about that? I mean, yeah, Tim won. That's great. Chuck, you said, was doing dominant the whole season. I mean, there you go. We're running 4th in points. That's going to help him. But Rodney needed a good run because where he was on the cut line, like you were saying earlier, and look where he finished, 3rd.
That's going to be our podium finishers here tonight.
Yeah, cut line driver getting the
good run for Ken Roberts and Jeremy Jeffries, though.
Yeah, Ken Roberts going to bring it home 4th here tonight. Jeremy Jeffries looking for 2 wins in a row, going to come up just short, finishing in 5th. Josh Metallic, another playoff driver, will finish 6th. Assuming nobody has an engine failure or anything during the pace off, that would be...
Sure, you got to make it back to the checker flag first. I don't believe anybody else was involved in that incident, by the way. I think it was just those 2 cars that were on their lid at the end of it.
I have a question on this. Bracket challenge? What's going on with that?
I believe they are still waiting for a winner in the losers bracket. I didn't even mention the bracket challenge tonight. I apologize for that, but
well, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's like when you don't have the luxury of being a championship contender and you're out, that is something you really focus on is just a bracket. And if you are a championship contender, what better, sweeter way of saying, "Hey, look, I got the championship and a bracket championship." That's cool. So,
and this is coming from a former winner of the bracket challenge in this series.
Thank you. Hi.
I'm looking at the replay right now on my phone. I'm still completely amazed at those 2 cars. There was one on the bottom and one on the top that managed to split those cars while they were flipping. You had both of those upside down cars in the middle of the racetrack, and 2 cars managed to split them and completely avoid taking any damage.
It's kind of crazy that, you've got 2 guys, and the angle they hit that wall where it just launches them back out into the track, and nobody else was involved. And we've got a full track.
And that was a bit of front, too, so it's like, what?
Well, we've crossed the line to take the white flag. Lights are still on the pace cars, so this is going to be official. Tim Nofsker should have this one wrapped up.
Those were 2 playoff contenders involved in that wreck right there. Grant Wesley, as we mentioned, the points leader. Greg Palmer entered tonight below the cut line. So that's officially going to put him out of championship contention, unfortunately for him.
Well, if Grant's the point leader, then there's a good chance he's going to stay, but he's definitely going to take a hit points more than likely, especially when they're resetting it. Don't they usually reset it for the next round, technically?
There was going to be a reset, but Josh Metallic, it looks like he's going to get a pretty decent finishing position as well. We can still see him up here at about the what is this, the top 6 position here for Metallic, I think. We'll get the official standings after this race. But yeah, Metallic getting a good finish. He only 9 points back, and with Grant Wesley going to probably take a DNF here, I mean, that could very well end up giving Metallic the championship lead, but we'll see how it all shakes out.
I'm not even going to make an attempt to try to do any math here. I know Seth talks about that he's not very good at math. I'm even worse. And go figure, the first 4 letters of my last name are M-A-T-H. That is either a blessing or a curse when it comes to math, and it hasn't been much of a blessing.
If you want, I don't know how quickly he'd be able to do it or how helpful, but I could always give Charles a ring.
Yeah.
Well, the admins, I will say, are also very, very good at doing the math for us in this series. So
Chuck just blinked. I hope he doesn't blink out and fall out. That would be horrible.
Yeah, that would be a tough break for McClure. We just saw a bit of a blink right there.
Imagine it just blinks and he doesn't get scored for the lap and gets put a lap down.
Who's like second and third in points here?
Well, Brian Schilling came into this race third in points.
Okay.
And then second was
Metallic.
Metallic. Yeah.
Well,
Why are they so far behind the pace car?
I don't know.
Metallic will probably be right there with Grant, if not like I don't know how close he is to Grant, but do you think Metallic could take over the point lead at this point?
He could.
Quite possibly, but here they are coming to the line under 62, 63 miles per hour. Tim Knopfsker will take the checkered flag. Second win of the season here.
And honestly, you got to give a lot of credit, not just to Tim, but you got to give a lot of credit to Chuck and Rodney and Ken. They were right there in a line, and they looked out for each other the whole way through. Didn't make any moves that would cause the issue to cause them any grief at the end of this race. So kudos to them for being patient. I mean, yeah, they probably would have tried to make a move, but I mean, overall, you think, hey, points over possibility of what we saw regarding what happened to Grant. So. But again, in Grant's defense and Greg and Grant's defense, you gotta risk it if you want to get in.
Well, that's going to lead us into our post-race rundown, and I'm sure all of us have some questions here after this race. I mean, it's all...
Well, this is your guys' playfield at this point, so I am going to be quiet and let you guys do your thing.
Yeah, we'll start that in just a moment once everybody's parked it. Yeah, really good win for Tim Knopfsker. Came into this race 5th in the point standings. Not sure where Bob Seminara finished. In fact, let's actually go ahead and take a look at our full finishing results.
Ninth position.
Bob Seminara 9th. Chuck McClure 2nd. Rodney Solins 3rd. Ken Roberts 4th. Jeremy Jeffries in 5th. Josh Metallic in 6th. Like we mentioned, there's a pretty decent chance because with Grant Wesley suffering that DNF, there's more than likely going to be a change for the lead, but we'll obviously check the point standings once that is all said and done.
So we see a burnout going here for Tim Knopfsker. A nice looking burnout.
Finish of the finishing results: Kelly Causey in 7th, Dante Ricky in 8th, Bob Seminara 9th, Greg Lovell, Brian Lovell, Robert Breedlove, Denny Carroll, Terry Bombard, Glenn Harris, Brian Rawson, Doug Hulick, Graham McDonald, Donnie Garrett, Bernie Mobbs, Mike Mangialardi 21st. Finished on the lead lap, even though he started the race near the front. Looked like he was leading a good chunk of the early laps of this race, but ends up finishing only 21st, followed by Mark Paglia, Tim Anderson, Robert Spring. Pat McCarskey was the first driver to finish a lap down, followed by Joe DeSpirito, David Little, Ulysses Sandoval, Bobby Farrell, Richard Martin, Belly Elliser, Cy Jones finishing 2 laps down, Randy Waugh,
Luigi
finishing in 33rd, retired from the race, followed by Greg Palmer in 34th, Terry Bond 35th, and Grant Wesley, John Godfrey, Michael Norman, Cody Lamas, and Chris Elliott had that early retirement with that camshaft issue.
Well, let's say we hear from some of these drivers here tonight. The top 3 finishers are going to start out here with 3rd place finisher Rodney Solins. Rodney Solins, everybody up here in the booth, you got us?
Hey, how's it going?
That's been pretty good. Came into this race tonight right there on the cut line. Needed a solid run here tonight, and you got that with a 3rd place finish. How were you feeling heading into tonight, being in that position?
Yeah, sorry, I got a little bit of whispering going on in my ear there. Yeah, I come into the race just wanting to get a good finish, and if the door opened to let me try to take the checkered flag, I was going to go for it. Kind of had an opportunity there coming to that caution, but I didn't have anybody behind me, and Tim and Chuck were stuck together. So I didn't get a chance to really do anything. But that was the goal when I came in, just get a good finish, try to move on to the next round. And I'm pretty sure I've done that. So I'll chalk this up to a good night.
It's been an interesting couple of races here. We went caution-free last week. Tonight, it looked like we were going to do the same here up until the very late stages of the race when we saw that wreck with the Wesley and the Palmer. Are you surprised by this? Like how of the last couple of weeks, especially given the the start of the playoffs?
Well, yes and no. No, I'm not surprised because of the talent level that's here with these guys that are racing. I mean, some of these guys have been doing this, like some of y'all, for 20-something years. A few people like me only been back about 5 or 6. So there's years of talent here. So I can see it running caution-free. But, yeah, it's the playoffs. Things are ramping up. The energy out there and the desire to get a good finish and to win a race and to move on. So, I mean, yes and no. It's a little bit of both, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Was there any deal making going on in the closing stages with the guys behind you? You said you were thinking, you said you would try to go for the win if you could, or were you just taking it lap by lap?
Well, I have some teammates out there, and we happen to be nose to tail. They're coming to the end. But when Grant and Greg got together, it kind of caused a little bit of a checkup there, and I kind of went just a little bit to the right and went around Greg and Grant. Lost to Chuck and Tim, but Ken, Kelly, and some guys behind me, they lost a little bit too, and we just couldn't get up together to try to get around Tim and Chuck. But we were definitely going to make some moves at the end. Well, we did actually, and that's when Grant and Greg got together. Looked like an ugly wreck, best I could tell. But so we were making moves and going to try to see what we could do there.
Anything you want to add, Jack?
No, I think 4 can be yours for victory or for thank you sponsors and shoutouts.
Well, appreciate that. First and foremost, RTG, Prime. Jeremy, Josh, Shaq, all the guys. If I'm forgetting somebody, I'm sorry. RTG, I love racing here. It's one of the best places to race, in my opinion. It's well ran. Admins and all the other series, all the drivers here. Josh and Tim, the guys, they're still letting me hang on to their coattails and help admin on Thursdays, and I appreciate that. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Of course, Tarnation TV, Blaine. Appreciate you and everything you do and the effort you put into the broadcast. Flat Out Racing Network. I know Seth's not here tonight. Michael hasn't been doing too many races lately. But Kyle and Jack, I'm really looking forward to listening to a race without Seth and see how it goes. See what kind of job you guys did. I'll be grading you. I'll get back with you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's going to be good. Looking forward to it.
We certainly did our best.
Yeah, we did what we could. We didn't have our anchor with us here this week, but we did what we could.
I understand. Seth's pretty special at what he does. He's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But thank Black Rifle Coffee, my sponsor, Habana Brisa, the guys at the shop with the Redline Performance Motorsports, all my teammates, my dad, my cousin Eric, and Kevin. I hope they're watching. I'm sure they're watching. I'm pretty sure Dad was. But the last thing I'm going to say, anyway, thank you guys for watching. But last thing I'm going to say is I want to keep Dennis McCarthy and his family in our prayers. They've had some unfortunate incidents in the past week or so with some relatives. So keep them in our thoughts and prayers. The Dixon family, of course. We're still missing bones here. So we're thinking about those guys. But I appreciate it, fellas. Thank you very much.
That's our third place finisher, Rodney Sollins. Congratulations on a good run tonight.
Hey, thanks again, fellas. Oh, and I forgot. Good run, Chuck. Tim, congrats on your win.
It's Rodney Sollins, our third place finisher. Now it's time to talk to our second place finisher, Chuck McClure. There we go. Chuck McClure, everybody up here at the booth, you got us?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Interesting race here tonight. You came into this race, I believe, 4th in the points, doing pretty well, bringing it home with a 2nd place finish.
Yeah, I just needed to be safe and run a decent finish, top 10. I knew I'd be all right. I wasn't going to do anything stupid.
Looked like you and Nofsker were working well together that entire race. Once you guys got up front, nobody could really do anything with you guys. Looks like you guys had a plan, and it worked out.
Yeah, he's kind of the quarterback. I say Wimley Pitton, and I go with him, and we run good together, and it's like I said, it's safe, and we just needed a decent finish.
So, you've been really consistent this season. Haven't won yet this season. I'm sure that'll change here before too long. Had we had that caution not come out, did you think you had any shot at possibly getting around Nofsker there?
I don't know. We kind of raced it out the last lap between us. It's kind of a spoken rule, if you will. But I was going to stay with him. I knew he needed a good finish too. So did I. And I don't think we'd have finished as good as we had if the yellow hadn't come out. But we were going to try.
So that'll definitely put you through to the next round here in the playoffs. What's the mindset from here on out?
Again, just run safe. Try to see who's under me and stay ahead of them, and try to beat my bracket guy. I have a lot of respect for Bob. I actually got lucky enough to beat him tonight, so that worked out well too.
Well, Jack, anything you want to add here?
I got nothing. If you're ready for thank you, sponsors and shout outs, the floor is yours.
All right, I appreciate Rodney for painting that car. It's really, really fast. And the other one, the Jack car. All the admins here and Sheck as well. They do a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's not near as smooth as it looks, but they make it look good. Of course, RTG, you guys at Tarnation TV and FRN. I can't wait to watch this. This is pretty cool, and congratulations to Tim.
Well, congratulations on a good run here tonight. That is Chuck McClure, our 2nd place finisher. Now we're going to go down to victory lane, bring up Tim Nofsker. Hey, Tim, it's everybody up at the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, congratulations on the win here tonight. A pretty dominant run. It's like you and Chuck McClure had a good thing going here, had a good plan going tonight, and it worked out to perfection.
Yeah, we were locked together for a big portion of that race, for sure.
Came into this race here in a pretty good position. I mean, nobody was officially safe heading into tonight since none of the playoff drivers won last week, but came in here, well above the cut line. So, what was the mindset? Did you feel like, with that cushion, you could be a little bit more aggressive and go for the win tonight?
Well, actually, no, just the opposite. So coming into the race, I was only a handful of points. I think it was 4 or 5 ahead of 8th. And I think I was only 13 points ahead of 11th. So I knew that I had to have a good run. It didn't have to be great. And I just basically focused on my pitting, staying in that lead pack. And we dropped some numbers there. I think we only had 10 in that lead pack at the end of the race. And even if I had to drop back to 10th, I think I was in pretty good shape. I told those guys, when I saw them going low, and I had Chuck on a whisper, I said, hey, I'm not trying to block. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not going to jeopardize myself getting wrecked at the end of this thing. So that was kind of my mindset. That caution was pretty timely, though, because I didn't really have to race it up at the end.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks been interesting in terms of cautions. Went caution free last week. I thought we were going to make it 2 in a row here up until the just a handful of laps remaining when we had that caution. had we not got that caution, did you feel pretty good about your chances, or were you concerned about some of those guys behind you?
Once I saw there was only 10 cars in that lead draft, and knowing where I was in points, granted the win helps because you do get bonus points to carry over into the next round, and that's a bonus. But in reality, I was just focused on, let's not get ourselves in trouble here. Like I said, I told Chuck, I'm not pulling down to block or anything. Let's just ride it out. And like I said, the caution kind of helped me get the win, I think.
Well, you led the most laps tonight, won the race, so max points for sure. So that's got to be a good feeling heading into the next round of the playoffs. What's your mindset from here on out?
Well, there's nothing but sharks in this pond, so you gotta get back after it and get a good start next week to the next round. So I think kind of more of the same. Just try to put yourself in position, be there at the end. If you can't get the win, you got to focus on max points. So I think the important thing is just don't shoot yourself in the foot. No pit road stuff. That's what got me last week, and I was lucky to get what I got last week. I ended up speeding on that last stop. So, I just got to make sure that I'm on top of my game and focused on pitting and, not putting myself in bad spots.
Jack, you have anything to add here?
I think you pretty much covered it all. So, Tim, congratulations on the win. If you want to go ahead and give some Victory Lane sponsors, thank you sponsors and shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd like to thank you guys for covering the race. I guess I didn't know Seth wasn't going to be here, so I'm sure you guys did a bang-up job, as always. I'd like to thank two painters for this paint job. It was originally painted by Jason Scheck a few years ago, and I kind of kicked the mothballs off of it, and Rodney freshened it up, so they both had a hand in what you saw tonight, and I love that paint job. I got to give a shout out to Chuck. He just stuck with me. Usually it's Chuck, Mark, Brian. We always try to run together, you feel comfortable around those guys, but Chuck really helped me get the win tonight. He pushed me for half the race at least. It was great. Probably the determining factor is when we got by Greg Palmer there on that round of pit stops. That really sealed the deal. I got to give a shout out to Prime, Josh, Rodney, all the guys that keep RTG rolling. It's a great place to race, and I mean, there's not many leagues that can boast one caution and two races. Actually, this one was essentially caution-free, so it's just the talent is overflowing here, and it's just a great place to race. Other than that, should be all good. So thank you guys.
Well, congratulations once again on the win here. That is Tim Nosker, our race winner here tonight. Well, interesting race once again here tonight. This series, like I've said before, the series never disappoints. You never know what you're going to get. No races are exactly the same, even though they race at the same track every single week. And, again, got a little bit of everything here tonight.
Absolutely. And, you talk about a season-altering wreck as well. I mean, that wreck at the end, it definitely shook things up in the point standings, because we do have our updated point standings as of right now. Josh Metalik has moved, as we predicted, into the number one spot. So that's him going to the next round. Tim Nosker up in the second, Chuck McClure in the third, Grant Wesley fell all the way back to fourth. That one wreck with only a few laps to go, that one crash that only involved two cars, that was enough to knock him all the way down to fourth. So Grant's going to have a little bit of ground to make up going into the next race. Bob Seminara is through to the next round alongside of Rodney Solins, Donnie Garrett, and Denny Carroll, the last man in. So Brian Schilling not starting the race. He ultimately misses out on the next round of the playoffs. That's a tough break for him.
Yeah, that's really is a tough break. Like we mentioned, came into this race tonight third in points. needed some of those guys behind him to have a bad run, but unfortunately it just didn't work out for him here tonight. But he's definitely somebody to keep an eye on for the rest of the season. He's a guy that can rip off a couple of wins here toward the end of the season. Wouldn't surprise me the least bit.
Absolutely. And Ulysses Sandoval, Richard Martin, Greg Lovell, Greg Palmer, the other playoff drivers that are finding their seasons coming to an end here today, but they can still try and get some wins here, maybe end the season on a positive note.
Yeah, and those are drivers that are definitely more than capable of doing that. So, have a lot of big names that can play spoiler here for the rest of the season, and we'll see how this plays out here for the rest of the playoffs. Definitely looking forward to seeing it. And that'll about do it here for us tonight. Seth Cole will be back with us next week, so it's going to be a much easier broadcast for all of us up here, and I'm sure for everybody watching as well. Thank you for bearing with us here tonight. And for Blaine Donnellan, Jack Mitchell, I'm Kyle Matthews for the Flat Out Racing Network, and you've been watching another simulcast between Tarnation TV and the Flat Out Racing Network.